Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So tonight is November 24th, 2021. It is Thanksgiving Eve. That's right. And this is live stream 721. It's your first time joining me. Let me point out this is super casual. Just hanging out, relaxing, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, as well as taking a look at a tabletop game. So tonight, we are going to actually take a first look at the limited edition, which I don't even know if this is still available, of Empire of the Ghouls for 5th edition. This is from Kobold Press. So we're going to be diving in just a little bit. But first, I do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel. Wait a second. Where's my little thing? What's going on? There we go. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. Also let you know when I upload other standalone videos, such as my upcoming review of Merv, Heart of the Silk Road from Osprey Games. Yes, this is the first in their series of mid-weight Euro games. So this is definitely something you might want to take a peek at. We did an unboxing and took a first look, and gotta say, it was pretty impressive. Very unique, I must say. Anyway, also, do want to mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And lastly, this is live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in, and I will do my best to respond. So far, first out the gate tonight was Mr. Eddie T. Hunter Perkins is with us. It's been a while since we've seen Hunter. 245 Trioxin is with us as well. It's been a while since we've seen 245 Trioxin. TDW Maverick has joined us. I believe this is the first time TDWM has popped into chat, so welcome aboard. Let's everybody make them feel right at home. And John Vogel's with us. So asking if it's another War Game Wednesday. No, it is not. Tonight is not a War Game Wednesday, although I do have a Wargaming news piece. But no, it is not a Wargaming Wednesday. I don't have any war games to look at. I don't have anything new for us to take a peek at. So there are some war game companies out there that I don't deal with for my own personal reasons. I think we've discussed over the years that just because a game company exists doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to talk about them, especially if they've treated me poorly in the past. So there are a few companies that you won't be hearing from. Not at least not from me. Anyways, no big deal. I don't care. There's no skin off my ass. So, so happy Thanksgiving Eve. That's right. If you're here in the U.S., tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And I don't know about you, but I'm not even hosting. And I've been preparing some stuff to bring over to my brothers for them to enjoy my famous sweet and sour cucumbers, which, to be honest, it's really just my grandmother's recipe, which is funny. My mom doesn't even remember my grandmother's recipe. In fact, I don't think she ever got it, but I did because I always liked it when I was younger. So sweet and sour. All right, let's jump on into the news because I've got a good eclectic mix tonight. Now arriving in stores from Devir Games is Bitoku. Here's the skinny. In Bitoku, the players take on the roles of, you guessed it, Bitoku spirits in the forest in their path towards transcendence, with the goal of elevating themselves and becoming the next great spirit of the forest. To do so, they'll have the help of the yokai, the kamadas, and the different pilgrims that accompany them on their path. This is a hand management engine building game with multiple paths to victory. Players will have yokai represented by the cards that make up their hand, which must be placed in the right places at the right times in order to obtain the maximum benefit from the abilities they offer. Furthermore, during the game, players can earn more yokai cards for their deck, thereby increasing their playing options and achieving a higher score. Each player also has 3 yokai guardians in the form of dice that they can send to the large regions of the forest on the main board in order to obtain all kinds of new options that they can play during the game. These options can be structures they build in certain areas of the forest, soul crystals that generate resources when certain actions are carried out, and many others as well. The players also have the chance to help the Mitamas, lost souls in search of redemption, by using the Chinkon fireflies. This is a truly wide range of actions available to carry out, and this is without taking into account the personal domain where the players can lay out another layer of additional strategy while managing the pilgrims. Pilgrims are followers of the player who embark upon journeys of contemplation and reflection, who then share the experiences and learning they can along the spirit path with the Bitoku. Bitoku is for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 2 hours, and carries an MSRP of $69.99. I saw a little bit of a video from this, and because I got to be honest, it's very difficult to actually get images from Devir Games for this title. They've got the box top, and then they have the 5th image that I'm showing. All the rest of these images are from the video. And I got to admit, this board looks massive. This looks like a really huge board, but it looks also like a very interesting game. And I happen to be a big fan of plateau building and engine building games. So this might be something to keep an eye out for. It is arriving in stores right now. Coming next month is the latest supplement for the Frostgrave Miniatures game from Osprey Games. Here's what I know about Blood Legacy. In the days of ancient Filstad, vampires kept to the shadows, their small numbers no match for the power of the city's wizards. But when the cataclysm struck, the wizards were destroyed, while the deathless vampires went into a frozen hibernation. Now, as the city thaws, so do its undead inhabitants. The Masters of the Night are rising again, reoccupying their hidden strongholds, reforming their old cabals, and finding new victims to serve as their thralls. The destruction of the old city has brought one other boon to the vampires: giant's blood. While giants used to live out of reach to the far north, in the intervening millennium, they've descended on the city in large numbers. Their blood is like an elixir to the vampires, filling them with strength and magical power. A new war is forming between these two ancient races, and once again, the wizards of Frostgrave are caught in the middle. The supplement for Frostgrave Fantasy War Games in the Frozen City presents greatly expanded information about the vampires and the giants that occupy the frozen ruins, including rules for vampiric magic and a breakdown of the different tribes of giants. Also included are rules for a new type of soldier, the giant blooded. These huge men and women have the blood of giants running through their veins, granting them great strength unseen in normal men. Finally, the book contains a section on playing Frostgrave with high-level wizards and includes 2 mini campaigns to challenge these experienced spellcasters. Frostgrave Blood Legacy arrives in December. The softcover is going to carry an MSRP of $30. I don't have the price on the PDF as of yet, but if it kind of runs like Osprey normally will do their pricing, it's probably going to be $19.99. Because usually when they have $35 hardcovers, the PDF is $24. So let's say $20 is what the PDF should probably run. I think I really should reach out to my contact at Osprey Games and ask if we can take a peek at the second edition of Frostgrave, because the second edition is relatively recent. And I'd be very curious at looking at some of these releases that they've had so far for the second edition. So, Flaming Huron, I was trying to see who it was. I saw it pop up in chat, but I didn't see who said it. It mentions there's some really nice looking minis here. I believe these are all from North Star Miniatures. And these images are actually from the Frostgrave core, the second edition core book. So I was able to track some down because there were no real images to share for Blood Legacy. And I didn't want to just show you the cover of the book. So it's not Wargame Wednesday, but I do have a Wargaming news piece because shipping next month from Flying Pig Games is Ya Magazine, issue 15. Here's the scoop from my friend, Mark H. Walker. Ya 15 is at the printers and will start shipping in December. Here's what's jammed into its 80-plus pages and an offer to save money on a pre-order. First, we have the clever, card-driven hex encounter executed game titled Caucus Burning, the Nagorno-Karabakh War 2020. Not familiar with that conflict. The simulation is an operational design by Greg Porter covering the Nagorno-Karabakh War of, you guessed it, 2020. You'll command formations of T-90 tanks, BMP-equipped mechanized infantry, drones, cruise missiles, and squadrons of attack aircraft as you simulate the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Can't believe I remembered how to pronounce that. Which took place in the fall of 2020. Units represent battalions grouped into brigades. Maneuver and attacks in the game are done via actions played from a deck of cards, and each pass through the deck represents 2 days and nights of fighting. A game of Caucus Burning will probably take a little less than 10 passes through the deck, so it'll run a little faster than the actual war. Of course, Ya isn't only about its game. There are some darn good articles to boot. In the Fulda article, Norm Lundy takes an in-depth look at Compass's modern entry into the CSS series. Next is a comparative gem by John Burt, one of the best writers in the board game industry. John compares and contrasts Tiny Battle Publishing's Steamroller Tannenberg 1914, designed by my good buddy Herman Littman, with some other company's game about the same war. I think it's titled At Any Cost or For a Few Pennies More or something like that. What he doesn't mention is that I wanted to put a picture on the box that had German infantry in those sharp-looking helmets, Stahlhelm or Stylenhelm, as we say in Franklin County, that they wore in late World War I. But Herm told me, the aforementioned Herman Lutman, told me they didn't issue them until 1916. Damn. At 80 plus pages, this is the chunkiest magazine yet from Flying Pig Games, and the first to include a 54 card deck. Yeah, Magazine 15 can be pre-ordered at the special price of $39.95. Eventually, it will be $44.95. And as I mentioned previously, it is going to be shipping in December. I have to point out that the games that come with Ya Magazine are pretty good. Tell you what, they're far better than anything you'll find in Strategy and Tactics. Far, far better. And these games are actually going to have been play tested. So that's a bonus. I know I pick on Decision Games all the time, but until they change their ways, I got to call it as I see it, although it's been a long time since I've seen anything from Decision. Hey, I wonder why, huh? So let's talk about some role-playing game news, because as we mentioned yesterday, there was some discussion in chat. There is a new Humble Bundle that has arrived in time for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And you'll be giving thanks for all the RPG goodness you can get for $25. Here's the deets on the Black Friday RPG Bonanza. 'Tis the season for adventure. Bring an epic haul of myth and magic to your tabletop this holiday with our Black Friday role-playing ebook bundle. Embark on a quest for whatever your friends and family are in the mood for, from castles and crusades to bunnies and burrows. Delve into 5e fantasy adventures, pour through tomes of horrors, discover menageries of mythic beasts, and get into seasonal spirit with modules concocted especially for the holidays. Plus, spread some cheer in our own world by supporting the charity of your choice or the chosen charity for this humble bundle. You can score all 41 PDFs, which include the aforementioned role-playing games, as well as Dungeon Crawl Classics, some Kobold Press releases, including Empire of the Ghouls, which we are looking at tonight. 5th edition role-play adventures, the massive 600-plus page Rapan Athuk, or Rapin Athuk, however you want to pronounce it, Mega Dungeon, and more. And you can get on board for $25. Now, unlike many humble bundles, there is no dollar price jumping on point. Usually we'll see that, especially like when we see Pathfinder do a humble bundle for $1. You can usually get like the core book and a couple adventures, things like that. That is not the case here. So it is $25 or more if you'd like to help support the charities by spending a little more money. But it is $25. But I'm telling you, the value is incredible. Just Rapan Athuk or Rapin Athuk, however you want to pronounce it. And it's for 5e. This edition, I believe, is the one for 5e, not for like the OSR, which is fine. You could port that over anyway, right? That massive mega dungeon is $25 in PDF. So essentially, spend $25, you'll get that and 40 other PDFs. It is amazing. And Flaming Heron says, insanely good value bundle. I agree. Mr. Eddie T says there's over $600 in value as far as the PDFs. And I know some people are like, oh, it's it's digital products. I don't put much value on digital products. Okay, fine, what have you. But still, $25 is going to get you a slew of gaming material. You can score these savings through December 4th, and the chosen charity, now you can change the charity, but the chosen charity for this bundle is the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals, which I will be talking a little bit more about after we finish up the news. My final news piece, Modiphius Entertainment has released the Desert Fall Adventure for the Dune Adventures in the Imperium role-playing game. Here's the dope. This 34-page introductory adventure for the Dune Adventures in the Imperium role-playing game brings the player characters to Arrakis to prepare for the arrival of House Atreides. Soon after planetfall, the player characters must ensure the official residency is secure and try to unearth any spies, assassins, or other potential threats that may be lurking in Arrakeen. Desertfall can be played using the pre-generated characters included, but will work equally well with a new group of player characters from a different house. Of course, that house would then be taking over Arrakis. It wouldn't be House Atreides. This new version of Desertfall has undergone a few small changes since its release as part of the core book preview. They've adjusted the presentation of some characters and also taken the opportunity to offer new guidance about adapting this adventure to an ongoing campaign with a house of your own, and included additional notes on how to include and continue the adventure if some of the subplots are not resolved. So this is no longer a preview. So Desertfall no longer contains any of the rules or setting information. So the assumption is that the buyer is going to have access to the Dune Adventures in the Imperium core rulebook. The 34-page Dune Desertfall PDF is available right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $4.99. Yes, there you have it. I would like to see more Dune releases from Modiphius. Now, granted, this is a standalone adventure, and I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe the only way you could get your hands on the preview PDF, which had this adventure originally, I think it was like 84, 85 pages long, something like that. The only way you could have gotten it was if you were pre-ordering the role-playing game. So I'm assuming there are people out there who had purchased the core book at their friendly local gaming store or an online retailer who have not seen this adventure. So I think it's kind of cool that Modiphius has released this standalone, but I would like to see more. I want to see more. Okay. And Zorak Zoran 1, Double Z1 has joined us. Someone else we haven't seen in a while. Cool. Welcome. So chat's off and running. Sweet. That's it for the news. Pretty quick. Zipping on through. It's kind of zipping right on through there. Anyway, that last news piece I did mention, Drive-Thru RPG. And of course, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. And I know there are many of you out there who do use those ads, those banners for me. Thank you. Much appreciated. Because as I've said it time and time again, usually the residuals or like little commissions, I don't know what you want to call it, that I get from Drive-Thru RPG will pay for the hosting of the website. So that's why I say it helps keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you like the Gaming Gang channel here on YouTube, if you like thegaminggang.com, you just dig what I do, by all means, feel free. You can buy me a cup of coffee or some soda. You can simply go over to paypal.me/thegaminggang. And once again, there are some folks out there as well who do that from time to time. That is much appreciated as well. So let's see. So there's some discussion about the Dune film. We talked a little bit about that. I think it was last night. And I had pointed out, I said, yeah, I liked it. For some strange reason, I still like the David Lynch film better. I know. And there are people who hate the David Lynch film. But I remember I had already read 3 of the books because that's what I stopped. I only read 3. I want to say I started reading the 4th one. I was just kind of like, So Mr. Eddie T says the drive-through banner was taking them to a broken sale link last night. I have to swap them out. To be honest, I have been dealing with, I guess I can mention this, a denial of service attack on the Gaming Gang. It's been going on for a few days. So if you are visiting the Gaming Gang, you'll notice that you're going to get a Cloudflare page pop up that takes a few seconds to connect you to the website, because I am just getting hammered. But the thing is, they haven't knocked down the site yet. Ha! That's right. So there you go. So yeah, so I wasn't even thinking. I think both the sales that were going on have finished up. So yes, since there's no sale on, it's just taking you to the sale is ended page. But it still counts. It still counts as a referral. So keep that in mind. All right. Anyway, so I said I was going to mention the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Or is it? Yeah, it's Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Anyway, I was talking about that I've been bouncing around doing a 50-50 auction live sometime in December. And I know the Madman, who I believe is gaming today. ZZ1 says, why do a denial of service attack on Gaming Gang? I have no idea. I don't know. It's just somebody just, got it in their head that they wanted to knock the site out. I got to say, and I'll get back to the auction in a sec, not to pat myself on the back too much, but when I first started doing this stuff 12 years ago, I knew nothing about building websites, photography, videos. Of course, you could probably say I still don't know anything about videos, writing reviews, any of this stuff. So I'm actually proud of myself because I have a pretty good system for security on the Gaming Gang. Never been hacked, never gotten, broken into, get brute force attacks constantly. I've never been able to figure out any of the passwords. So, knock on wood. But yeah, for some strange reason. So Flaming Heron says, all that traffic you're getting. Yeah, right. Yeah, I noticed the page views just explode. Because normally we pull in, on average, about 3,500 visitors a day. That's on average. Sometimes it's, it's more, sometimes it's less. But that's the average. Because we pull in over 1 million unique visitors a year. So now, the past few days, we were hitting like 40-some thousand visitors. And it was like, 800,000 page views. And it's like, oh no, that's not, this ain't legit. Because you know, I could see if it was like, hey, we've got some big news, big breaking news. Hey, I'm breaking the news of, like here in Chicago, there's a big thing going around where some podcaster broke a story that the coach of the Bears was going to be fired after the game tomorrow, and was already informed of it. It was like, who in their right mind? I'm not saying he wouldn't get fired after the game because he sucks, but who in their right mind would be like, oh, you're going to fire me and you want me to coach the football game coming up this week? Yeah, okay. Nobody would do that. So anyway, back to the auction. If you would like me to do that, or essentially what I would do is probably take about 50 games, maybe do some bundles of games, do a live auction, probably on a Saturday afternoon in early December, and split. Half of what comes in goes to Extra Life, which supports the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals, or Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And of course, the other half is going to help support the site. It's up to you. Let me know in the comment section below. Don't pop it in chat. Let me know in the comment section if that would be something you would be interested in taking part in. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, forgot to post the comment in the last video. Hey, that happens. All right. So I think it would be kind of cool, be kind of fun. In fact, I had mentioned, because I had thought of doing that for the special Extra Life gaming day that was earlier this month. And I thought, man, who's going to tune in? I mean, if people are tuning in for gaming, they're going to be watching, famous people, or at least C-list celebrities who are gaming, as opposed to checking out me sitting here going, all right, so here's what do I hear? What? Actually, I wouldn't be doing that. I would just be, kind of talking. Plus, I also mentioned it'll be an auction and an AMA. So, ask away if there's something that you're curious about. My opinions on things doesn't even have to always be gaming related. So let's move on, because today I am going to be taking a first look at Empire of the Ghouls from Kobold Press. You're going to see the limited edition of the book. It's written by Richard Green with Wolfgang Bauer, Jeff Lee, Kelly Pollack, Mike Wellham, and Christopher Lockey. There are tons of artists. So what we're going to do is I'll actually zoom in so we can give the artist some credit here. But the 356-page hardcover is available. The standard hardcover is available for $54.99. You can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $29.99. Let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Empire of the Ghouls. So I'll kind of show you this limited edition here with the silver. Try to get the light to catch it. There we go. Pretty sweet. And we have 4, yes, count them, 4 bookmarks as well. This is an adventure. So this is an adventure. This is set in Midgard. And I believe, I have not looked at this, but I do think that it starts off under the free city of Zobek, which, if you are familiar with the Midgard setting, which I reviewed the Midgard, I think it's called the handbook, but it's the setting book, the guidebook, which I thought was great. I gave it a 10. I believe that that's kind of like the main city that Kobold likes to set their adventures in. So we're going to jump on in here. So here we've got our interior artists. I'm going to zoom all the way in. Let's give some of these fine folks some credit right here. Figured if I started reading all those names, I'd end up mispronouncing everything. So, so who wants to sit there for 5 minutes while I read through something and mispronounce like half of the people's names? I know I don't. Okay. Few things I want to point out before we jump on in. As I mentioned, I'm not sure if the limited edition is available any longer, but as far as I understand, the only difference between the standard edition and the limited edition is essentially this. Just the cover, the kind of it's almost kind of a leatherette sort of look to it. It is not a leatherette book, but that's just something I wanted to point out. So as far as the page quality, the paper weight, and everything should all be the same. And I'll tell you right now, one of the things I've noticed about the Kobold Press releases that I've actually taken a peek at and done reviews of is they are top notch. The paper weight of these far outweighs what you find in releases, say, from Wizards of the Coast, which I'm not knocking them, but the pages are just so much thinner on those books as well. So let's jump on in. Also want to mention that the fine folks over at Kobold Press, namely Wolfgang Bauer, provided me with this review copy. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. Of course, these days it's important that you know that. Double Z1 says, ha ha, Jeff and names, saying that I should work for the UN as a translator. I'll tell you one thing that I am actually pretty good at is guessing the pronunciation of people's names. People are very impressed when I pronounce their names. They're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly it. I'm like, oh. It's like a lot of people mispronounce my name when they see it. It's Mcaleer. Of course, the A is capitalized. And I've had people say McGaller. It's like, where's the G? I didn't see the G in there. McAllen. It's like, no, where's the N at the end? Very few people ever get McAleer correct. Something else I'm going to mention, I'm going to be cutting off the upper left-hand portion of the book because I'm going to stay picture in picture up here. And we're not going to look at each and every page. We're going to kind of jump through, going to skip, pages, lots of pages, because I just want to give you a feel for what this adventure book is like. So we get a gazetteer to start off. Very nice artwork. That's something else I do want to mention as far as the Kobold Press releases that I've taken a peek at. Artwork's always top notch. Always very cool. Flaming Heron says, don't worry, people struggle with their surname. Yeah, it's kind of unusual. All right, so we're getting some background about the ghouls. And the ghouls in Midgard are really evil. They're cannibals. So think of, if you're familiar with the ghouls from, say, like Call of Cthulhu. Very similar cannibalistic groups of, like packs of ghouls. So we have a hierarchy of the Ghoul Imperium. So it looks like we've got the different, like, noblage of the ghouls, locations in the underworld. So rather than like the drow, I believe that it is the ghouls mainly in the underworld in Midgard. Could be wrong, but that's the impression I have. So this is all still gazetteer here. Looks like we've got a map. Darkham, the White City of Bone. It's pretty cool. Embassy of the Brain Eaters. Brains. All right, and looks like that is a ghoul there. Nice. Very cool. As I pointed out, this is an adventure. So this is not just a source book. This isn't like an underworld gazetteer. This is an adventure, and it will take characters from first level, I believe, up into like 13th or 14th. Kevin Smith has joined us. Good to see you, Kevin. Kevin's one of our contributors reviewing RPG PDFs with the Gaming Gang, and mentions that they thought that Dungeons and Dragons ghouls were always cannibalistic. I think they are. I think original like AD&D ghouls, I think they are. They're either cannibals or they're like carrion eaters. All right, kind of jumping on through here. The Chords of the Kobold King. It's like a gelatinous cube. With skeletal remains inside. I like gelatinous cubes. It's something about this transparent thing kind of like schlubbing its way towards you, and it's got stuff floating around in it. I get a kick out of the kind of like more humorous takes on a gelatinous cube. They always show like a halfling skeleton, or like somebody's shield and a dagger and things like that. So the Temple of Marina, or Morena. Once again, we're just taking a look, kind of getting a feel for the adventure, what you can kind of look forward to as far as like the different maps and the artwork and things like that. ZZ1 says that this is a good looking book, they must say. I must say. I agree. I definitely agree. But as I pointed out, as we started taking a peek through, that I have found everything from Kobold Press has been top notch. Really has. The artwork's great. The quality of the hardcovers and the paper utilized, all really well done. Flaming Heron says they think all the Kobold Press books are nice looking. I know Madman, the Madman, is a big fan of Kobold Press. I know he backs a lot of their Kickstarters. So we've got a chapter, The Blood Marriage. It's kind of a cool, kind of swords and sorcery sort of look to that artwork there. Remember, January will be the old school for the new year celebration. I have got a lot of old school role-playing material to share with you. We've got some very cool stuff I'm going to be taking first looks at, doing some reviews of. So the vast majority of the month is going to be devoted to not necessarily just OSR, but games that are kind of have an OSR feel to an OSR vibe to them. So you don't necessarily have to be D&D retro clones for me to be sharing them with you. So as an example, Castles and Crusades, the folks over at Troll Lord Games are supposed to be on board, and they're going to be sending stuff along. Castles and Crusades isn't necessarily OSR because it's really kind of built on 3rd edition D&D. But it does have an old school sort of mentality to the feel of the game, the setting of the game. So Mr. Eddie T says, can't wait. Hopefully, Mr. Eddie T is talking about that they can't wait for the old school for the New Year's celebration. Catacombs of the Ghoul King. I can tell you right now, this is a pretty massive adventure. This is pretty epic. Well, as I mentioned, you can take your characters from 1st up to either 13th or 14th level. So it would have to be fairly epic. Yeah, and Mr. AT says, yes, they can't wait for the OSR stuff. Into the Fulgen Realm. Pillars of the Underworld. We get a chapter summary as well. Aha! I always forget. Well, are these like, I think it's Ogren? No. I forget. These monsters always have like a super bizarre name. That's like, how the hell do you pronounce this thing? At least it looks like it. I might be wrong. This could be a brand new kind of monster here, but it's to me, it's always like a trash monster almost. Like you would find them in like a dung pit. Another cool looking map. There are virtual tabletop assets that are available as well. I think it's the maps that are available if you'd like. And I want to say they're available at the Kobold Press website. I think they're $9.95. Just kind of zipping along here. That's kind of creepy looking, almost like a rat thing. There you go, Kevin. Thank you. That is exactly Kevin in chat spelled. I think that's how it's spelled too. The Othiogs. So, like I said, I don't know how to pronounce the damn thing. But that is exactly the monster that I'm thinking of. Thank you, Kevin. The heat is on. Yeah, okay. Doing some no, it's not Don Henley. It's Glenn Fry. Doing a little Glenn Fry there. The late, great Glenn Fry. Okay, so now we're going to get into, I think we're at the, yep. So that's concluding the campaign. So now we get into the appendix. So Creed of All Flesh. So we get into some magic items. I'm assuming we've got a bestiary in here as well. Looks like we got quite a few. I'm sure we've got some new spells because everybody always loves new spells. 245 Trioxin says it's a like Kevin spelled. And they said that's what it was because they just got done painting a mini of one. Sweet. I would think that would be a cool miniature to paint. Something different. So Mr. Eddie T is asking if I'm an Eagles fan. Yes, I am. I actually saw them in concert quite a while back when they, did the reunion. And it was great. It was a blast. We had a good time. It's funny. I ran into Joe Walsh in a hotel restaurant having breakfast one day. He happened to be playing in the town, city, whatever, that I happened to be in. And I went down. I was staying at a hotel and I went down to have breakfast. And there was Joe Walsh sitting at the table next to me by himself having breakfast. And I said, hello, and said, hey, I'm a big Eagles fan. Love your work. And he started talking with me for a little bit. He was very nice. And then my friends were like, how come he didn't give you like any tickets to the show? It's like, because I didn't ask him for any. It's like, plus I was flying out that night. I was going to, because it was solo. It wasn't the Eagles. It was just Joe Walsh solo. Right. So here we've got our bestiary. So we've got quite a lot of new monsters in here. We've got a breakdown of some of the major NPCs. There we go. Random encounters in the underworld. So we got a table for that. Aha, so that is a desert troll, I think it's saying. It looks like we've got some handouts. Yep, sure enough. We've got some handouts here. Very cool. And of course, there you go. It's the Midgard World book that I reviewed. Really, really enjoyed it. I've got quite a lot of Kobold Press stuff from Gen Con. So we've got lots more Kobold Press that we're going to be taking a look at. Got a lot of these guides, these smaller guidebooks. And I also have the Grimoire, which is like a collection of the first 10 issues of Warlock. Kind of interesting. So, well, we got a map. Yep. So we got a map here of the Ghoul Imperium, as well as the surrounding territory. If I remember right from the World book, the ghouls sort of have an alliance with the vampires. There's a vampire empire that's very cool in that as well. So Mr. Eddie T mentions that he and Sarah, hi, Sarah, I'm sure you're hanging out in the other room watching, are big fans of the Eagles. Very cool. Flaming Heron says, yeah, they were spending time with their dad since he's recovering from surgery. Oh, yeah, recovering from surgery and watching one of the Eagles concerts online. Nice. Cool. So that is Empire of the Ghouls. Once again, it is from Kobold Press. Like I said, I don't think this is still available as a limited edition. If so, if I remember correctly, I think it carried a $75 price tag. I might be wrong. So Sarah D saying hiya. Hiya. I figured you were hanging around. Double Z1 says they have to run. That's okay. I'm just about to wrap up the show myself. But once again, you can pick up the standard edition hardcover, which has that artwork available. And that carries an MSRP of $54.99. You can grab the PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $29.99. And of course, stay tuned because I will have a review of Empire of the Ghouls in the very near future. I had also mentioned yesterday, and I'll mention it again, that the month of December will probably go a little heavier towards role-playing games. Just one of the reasons is because I have not had an opportunity to play a lot of board games or as many board games as I normally would. So we're going to go a little heavier, not complete. It's not going to all be RPGs. But we'll probably be going like 60-40 is my guess right now. Just a guess. So I got to say, Empire of the Ghouls looks pretty cool. And we were just kind of taking a look at every, I don't know, 10 pages, like skip 10 pages, look at something. So that looks pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to diving on into it. And I find it very interesting that the Midgard setting is not where the underworld in D&D is always the drow. It's always the drow. Not so in Midgard. Very cool. All right, that's it for this time out. Should mention, somebody had asked, they sent me an email asking what the schedule for the dispatch is going to be during the holiday season. Same as always, but as I tend to do every year, I am leaning towards taking the week between Christmas and New Year's off. Haven't decided yet, but I'm probably going to. Because it's actually been a while since I had like a week off of doing the show. I think it was back when I was in Indy for Gen Con. All right. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when the Gaming Gang Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. I'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road from Osprey Games. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Those of you here in the U.S., here's hoping you and yours have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you enjoy a great 4-day weekend. Hopefully you've got a 4-day weekend going on. And if you're outside the U.S., well, here's hoping you have a wonderful Thursday and Friday and enjoy the weekend as well. Of course, I will be back on Monday, and I'm not sure what we're going to look at yet. I got a couple of things that I haven't decided yet. So, of course, should point out, always follow me on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, follow at The Gaming Gang, because I always announce what's going to be on the show. Sometimes it's the night before, sometimes it's that morning, but you always have an idea what's coming up on each episode. Those who watch live, thank you very much. Those who took part in chat, because I know there's folks who watch live who don't take part in chat. That's cool. But those who took part in chat, thanks for keeping me company. I always appreciate people hanging out, so I'm not just sitting here just babbling on into a camera, out into the interwebs, into the ether. But I also understand there are a lot of people out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live. Regardless how you're watching, live, after the fact, on Memorex, whatever, thank you very much. Yeah, so everybody, so Flaming Heron says, yeah, sometimes you need to have a break and recharge. Yeah, sometimes I do. Every 3 months or so, I like to take a week off. All right. Anyway, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the holiday if you're in the U.S. And, of course, I will be back on Monday. And until then, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. See you Monday. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel, or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel. And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.